This episode is sponsored by NordVPN. Behold, the best f***ing thing ever. This is the definition of incredible. Robots and guns, kung fu, flying motorcycles, awesome stunt work, and a Tarzan gunfight. If that doesn't convince you, it also stars Tony Leung. This is I Love Maria, or as the Chinese title goes, The Invincible Iron Maria. In this 1988 Hong Kong sci-fi action comedy, a terrorist group sends out one of their killer robots to assassinate a former member. Thanks to the help of an engineer, they are able to reprogram Robot Maria, and with her protection, evade and survive against the terrorists. Now obviously, I love this movie, and for one reason alone, the astonishing practical special effects. If this movie is remade today with CGI VFX, it would have none of the charms. I don't think I'm alone on this though. A large part of the internet seems to think that practical effects are more charming than CGI. Why is that? Today, using this movie as an example, with no evidence and only my anecdotal perception, allow me to make a few guesses, and you can tell me if you agree. Let's take a look at I Love Maria and find out what makes its special effects so special. Here's a question: why do we love magic tricks? Certainly, the fantasy of levitation is part of it, but I think there's more. Because should someone claims their psychic power is real, then they are no longer a magician, they become a charlatan.
I think that Mr. Heydrich is merely to accomplish this effect, blowing on both the page and on the pencil.
We love magic not because it's real, but because it announces itself to be unreal. We love to be perplexed. How did they do that? I, and apparently the Nolan brothers, believe that movie magic operates on the same logic. Here is a simple special effects shot. If done with CGI, this shot would be short and uneventful. But as a practical shot, it is shown in its full glory. It lasts long enough for the audience to become aware of it. It announces its presence as a magic trick and challenges you into thinking about its solution. It's not paper, it deforms in a way similar enough to metal. The more you think about it, the cooler it gets. We love it because we know there is a trick that has a simple but clever explanation. By the way, I think it's foam rubber. How does this robot move? How did they pull off this rocket punch? At every corner, there is a trick that perplexes you. How did they do that? The same question, however, is rarely applicable to CGI. For one thing, VFX is complicated. Not knowing where the difficulty lies makes it hard to appreciate. At the same time, CGI is also way too versatile. You have seen one, you have seen them all. It all feels like the same magic trick being used on repeat. This problem is further compounded by how CGI is used in modern blockbusters. Its flexibility encourages filmmakers to paint with broad strokes so that they may adjust things in post-production. As a result, the VFX and the stories aren't always cohesive. A classic example is actors not knowing what they are looking at, and their acting suffers because of it. That's why the best VFX are often the ones with a lot of pre-production ahead of time, like Dune and its sand screen, or Avatar with its VFX halfway done before filming began. On the other hand, practical effects have to be shot in camera. The director is forced to plan ahead, no broad strokes allowed. Thus, the effects are often critical to the film's vision. They are cohesive parts of the experience. This close-up shot of a bent steel bar is a character-building moment for Maria. It shows her strength and her intent to kill. It is filmed, edited, and presented with directorial intent. It feels like a precise performance, a magic trick. Such showmanship is often lacking in VFX. By the way, if you are interested in I Love Maria, you'll be happy to know that Hong Kong actually made a whole lot of sci-fi effects films in the 80s and 90s. Wicked City, Robotrix, yes, that's what it's called. And perhaps the most high-profile of them all, $60 Million Man, starring Stephen Chow. But if you want to watch that movie on Netflix, you have to live in Southeast Asia. Or you can use NordVPN. Yeah, I love NordVPN sponsorships, it just gives me an excuse to recommend movies. If you don't know, NordVPN allows you to set your virtual location to almost anywhere in the world, unlocking geo-restricted content with a single click. A big help for foreign film enthusiasts. It's designed for both online security and personal convenience, meaning one account supports up to 6 devices and your internet privacy is protected on all fronts. For NordVPN's 11th birthday, go to the link in the description to get a 2-year plan with an exclusive deal. Plus 1 bonus month free and a bonus gift. With a 30-day money-back guarantee policy, it's also risk-free to try it out. High speed, convenience, and secure. With NordVPN, you can visit the world without worry. Check out the link in the description and give NordVPN a try today. Here's another question. Say if I'm able to create a replica of the Mona Lisa, a perfect copy down to its molecular structure, does that mean the copy holds the same artistic value? To art theorist Walter Benjamin, the answer is no. To him, our collective concept of Mona Lisa points to a single painting uniquely exists in space and time. This existence gives it an aura that cannot be replicated, bestowing the original a perceived value. Though Benjamin was a classic case of a snob, his description on how we perceive value in art is insightful. So, to balance things out, allow me to explain this with the least snobbery thing in film. Explosions. Have you ever been thrilled by a CG explosion? I haven't, not because they don't look real, although they often don't. Even if the simulation is flawless, I still think it's inherently inferior because it lacks the aura of a unique existence. The thrill of knowing an actor worked with an explosion on set to create this stunning sequence brings to it a value beyond what is shown on the screen, because it's a physical event. This shot has an aura that engages your fantasy. Not the fantasy to be in the story, but rather to be on the film set, seeing the explosion happen and how the actors act in front of it. Seeing a digital Spider-Man dodging explosions may be fun, but seeing Jackie Chan dodging an actual fireball is exhilarating. In other words, when I'm watching a special effects sequence, I'm not watching what the characters can do, I'm watching them to see what the filmmakers can do. The notion that Tony Leung acted opposite to this steaming colossus is more fascinating than any digital recreation. In a way, it's the same reason people buy vinyl records. No, the sound is not better, although Benjamin would not consider it to be uniquely present. The physicality of a record and the fact that the copy belongs to you adds to it a perceived specialness. As our lives get increasingly digital, physical experiences may become more and more valuable. But in the end, the reason we love practical effects may be a lot simpler. When I say we, I don't mean everyone. To us, the viewers of this channel who are overwhelmingly likely to be curious about the filmmaking process, this looks fantastic. But to a general audience, the ones who don't watch black and white movies because they are old and boring, to them, this no doubt looks antiquated. I mean, the cast iron robot barely moves. It's the steam that gives it an illusion of movement. It requires a lot of creative angles just to get this robot to throw a punch. While we marvel at the ingenuity of the filmmakers, there are also an audience who simply do not wish to be reminded that they are watching a movie. Why would you settle with this when you have this? It all comes down to a difference in expectations. For those of us who are familiar with practical special effects, we watch movies expecting the effects to be special. But perhaps to those who grew up with digital effects, VFX is not something they specifically look forward to seeing. Like costume design, set dressing, like color cinematography and sound design, VFX is there to dress up the story, not meant to be the selling point. It is something that comes with the movie. You aren't there to see the CGI, you are there to see a T-Rex. But to people like us, we are here to see the special effects, not the shabby robot. People who care about cinema the most are most likely to talk about films. They are also the same people who would wonder, how did they do that? That in turn created the false consensus that the internet thinks practical effects are better. In the end, the question may not matter to the vast majority of film goers. I know I didn't actually talk about the movie that much. I mean, look at it. With a robot inspired by Metropolis and costume inspired by Blade Runner, this movie is a work of art. Do I really need to say more? Spectacles are everywhere these days, but few have impressed me like that one single dinosaur, or that tour around the space station. Perhaps what we crave isn't special effects or visual effects, but creativity. For practical effects, the creativity happens behind the scenes, with clever bespoke solutions bringing impossible things into reality. And for computer effects, the creativity comes from the original concept, the unexpected fantasy. Maybe that's the ultimate reason why I Love Maria is so incredible. The film is a gallery of creative ideas on and off screen, robots and guns, flying motorcycles. It is full of wonders, like seeing a magic trick, seeing the original Mona Lisa, seeing an actual robot. In all these scenarios, I think what truly captivates us is the human ability to create something original.